Hey yo, this is another video, so let's go. Alright, so what this video is about is the ego and how it can get in the way of love. Alright, so let me get right into it. So what I'm bringing to the table is I had this for a few months. When I came across it while reading, I wanted to hold on to it. I knew at the right time it'll just come out. So and it's the right time right now. So, all right. We have MAAT Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson. So those two, they were at one point. They were like I've seen pictures of them together, like almost like a dating situation or relationship or whatever. But the thing is, once I was getting Whitney Houston's album, her first album, I had realized something. I was looking through time. I wanted to figure something out, and the answers were showing me something. So the first album I listened to, I'm like, this guy that's like on two or three songs on the album, and I find out that's Randy Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Randy or Jermaine, one of the two. I think it's Jermaine Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Jermaine. He was at the time he was married, and he was telling Whitney Houston he was gonna leave his wife to be with her. So Whitney on her first album, you can hear a lot of some of the songs she's speaking on their relationship or speaking on you're gonna leave your woman for her. Um, And like I said, I think it's Jermaine Jackson. I think it's Jermaine. Yeah, Jermaine. He's on two songs, and you got to think about this. And I brought up Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston together. So Randy, Jermaine has a wife already at this point in time. So when he's having his wife, the life they're living is flowing or coming out through the music that Whitney Houston is recording with him, and what she's recording by herself. So what I'm saying is, um, at certain times, like that's not even just with celebrities. That's even with regular people. You have certain people that's not even supposed to be in your life. That's like exclusive in your life, or like a friend or family. Like they're not even supposed to be exclusive in your life at a certain point in time. But certain factors or certain how can I put this? Certain factors or certain entities will put a situation together to get the one you're not supposed to be with to block you from being with the one you're supposed to be with. So I'm gonna get into it right now. So with Jermaine dating Whitney Houston, he was actually blocking her from getting with Michael Jackson. Hold on, let me pause this real quick. So, with Whitney not being with Michael Jackson, because once that relationship broke apart, they were not able to live out something that was supposed to happen. So this is all mythology. We really what we all see each other as physical bodies. So when you see each other as physical bodies, you're not really looking past as what a lot of what they say is called the veil. The veil sometimes will have an extra layer or extra layer and a layer and a layer for you to get past what's supposed to happen or get past the ego. I just saw some numbers, but I'm gonna keep going. Um, so, with with when Michael and Whitney were really starting to hang out, Jermaine, I don't keep saying Randy, but Jermaine Jackson got in Michael's ear like, oh, me and Whitney used to date, or we used to be together. She wanted me to leave my wife, and Michael, he tripped out with that, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm not finna get with her because you already dated my brother." And after that, all that, it never came out as in papers or in the public as him saying that to him. But come on, man, they're brothers, and if he was with her first, and then she, you can tell even her second album, I want to dance with somebody. The second album, I want to dance. What was it? I forgot what it is called. I want to dance with somebody, or dance with me, or I want to dance with somebody on her second album. So that was after the Randy Jackson, the, the Jermaine Jackson thing, and then after the Jermaine Jackson thing happened, she was like saying this is who she wanted to be with Michael Jackson. Even in the song "Be Your Baby Tonight," you look at that really close to the video, you can see the influences of her when she was reaching her hand out to Mike. But it was just the whole thing of the ego of Jermaine telling Michael that, oh yeah, you shouldn't date her because we was already together already. And Mike left her alone. After that, I haven't seen him really with any sisters like that. After that, it was like with Brooke, Brooke Shields, I think. All these other women that wasn't highly melanated sisters. So after the situation, and that's what, and the thing is, they'll tell certain, like, even in everything that's going on right now, you'll see even comedians or musicians, they can't even be with people that looks like themselves because they've been done certain things to get through certain processes for them to have that. You'll see Samuel L. Jackson, or you'll see Denzel Washington with one. They've been with them for years, but you know what I'm saying, since the beginning of their career, before their career really even blew up. So like if anything else is any of these people that's not really been in the 90s with somebody, you're not going to see them with a highly melanated person. You're going to see them with somebody that doesn't look like them. So after after that happens, you can see like there was never anything after that situation. There's pictures of them together, but there's nothing else. That's the ego. When you know what I'm saying, like he's in. I think they were. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm sure they should be Jehovah's Witness or something like that. Something of the matter. Um, and he doesn't, certain things about family they don't agree to or something, whatever. And like I say, religion or God is the ego. So that's like one of your worst enemies. You can use it as a weapon. People don't use the ego as a weapon. They use the ego and they go through life with the ego. With the ego, well, that's just me. I use the ego as a weapon because whenever I decide to um, make myself a million times bigger than what I am, it's that energy or that power is amplified because it's not used so often. It's like what Bobby Hemmitt say with certain deities around the world. When so many people call on the same deities, that deity or that God becomes weaker because, or it's not as strong as the other ones that haven't been called. So the ones that's been called, all that that's not been called, but sometimes with the people that's getting into ancient material, they're dealing with the higher power magic because a lot of people aren't tugging on that or pulling on that energy. So if nobody's pulling on that energy, that means you're getting a whole um, feeling of what that deity has to offer when no one else is calling that name. So that goes with losing the ego, not being constrained to religions, or not being constrained to family, or not being constrained to friends, or not being constrained to in your living conditions, or not being constrained to what your familiarity is with your surroundings. Like I always say, man, these motherfuckers, they balling, but they balling in the crib. They've been living in that crib for the longest. Like we say in highly melanated people, so-called black people, say, I'm chilling at the crib. The crib is the house. It's where the baby lives in, is the crib. So the crib, if you ain't never left where you from, and you know what I'm saying, you don't know how much power, or you don't know how much strength or how much downfall you can take, because you can only take you only taking or making yourself bigger than what you are somewhere where you grew up your whole life. if you haven't done anything big or major or made decisions where you lose out on money from somewhere else outside of where you live in, you don't have a fallback plan. You don't have something to a catch net or net to catch you with. You don't have you know what I'm saying. So those things they matter when certain things like with spirituality, because that ego, it deters. It starts to you start to lose it. And like your real you comes out because the ego will hold you. Like if you have friends that you live around in your neighborhood or your hood or whatever, you be like, oh, I can't let them see me like this, struggling or whatever. I gotta get it right now. Like then you retarding your process spiritually because you let something outside of yourself, which is a God outside, supposedly outside, supposed to worship it, so that's outside of yourself, or like family or friends can be a God to you. Because only what you realize is familiar to you becomes the normalcy. So if it's familiar to you, then that means what? You're not expanding. You're expanding in the lane or the zone that you allowed yourself to be in. Only the zone that you allowed yourself to be in, that's a little bit of a stretch. That's not a lot, because if you decide to stay in that zone, you're not fully, like they say in jazz, oh, we're going to stretch out this song. We're going to see what it's capable of. In jazz, they say stretch it out. Stretch it out because like certain artists, they'll have a certain song, how it's played and recorded, but they won't play it that way or perform it that way in front of the public, and the public be looking like, what's this song? I never heard this song before. You've heard it, but in another format. It sounds different, the same notes, but just different sounds or different actions of those notes. And it depends on who the artist is or who the group is that will decide to do that. I don't want to name any names, but certain artists do that, and when they do that, they're keeping it. How can I say it? Keeping it loose, not so rigid, not so. What do you call that? I think those words are good, suffice or good enough, but you know what I'm saying? I think they keep it not so straight up and down. It has some fluidity to it. You know what I'm saying? Some lucid shit to it. You know what I'm saying? So like you be like, oh, and what that does is the listener, it actually helps more than hurts the listener, because if it's something they're used to all the time, it's like something like you're used to with living in the crib, the same old shit you can fall back on. But if it's something you ain't used to, and you gotta handle this shit by yourself, you get that what they call animal instinct to do things that are out of the norm for you, and your thinking becomes different. Your expansion of your mind and your spirituality becomes enormous. So what I'm going to do, instead of me just talking your ear off, I'm going to go ahead and show you something I had read that I spoke on I had read a few months ago. So I'm going to get the information right now together. In a third case, the contest is one of sorcery. The story of the Loon Woman tells, I'm outside in the park, so what, who cares? Tells how she fell in love with the youngest of her teen brothers. As they danced in a sweat lodge by her magic, she compelled him to accompany her, but he escaped. And the brothers, with the aid of their elder sister, Spider Woman, ascended to heaven in a basket. Loon Woman perceived them, set fire to the sweat house, and all save the eagle fell back into the flames. Their bodies were burned, and Loon Woman made herself a necklace of their hearts. Nevertheless, her triumph was brief, for the eagle succeeded in slaying her, and placing her heart along with those of his brothers in a sweat house, brought them all back to life, but with the forms and dispositions which they now possess. So what I'm saying is, I'm looking at Whitney Houston as the Loon Woman, which is like another version of a sister she got with the youngest brother. Michael Jackson is the youngest brother of all the Jacksons. brothers. Jackson 5, he's the youngest. So she got with him. And it's like, I always call Whitney Houston MAAT. MAAT is Whitney Houston in a form or a format of in a physical body. And Michael Jackson is like a format or a form of Horus or Heru in a physical body. So I always look at this story as in myth form. So how you see like she said she wanted to dance with somebody. I had looked at them like that. It kind of threw me off when I saw it. I was like, oh man. So she said she wants to dance with somebody. As they danced in the sweat lodge, youngest of her 10 brothers, as they danced in the sweat lodge by her magic, she compelled him to accompany her, but he escaped. And the brothers, with the aid of their elder sister, Spider Woman, ascended to heaven in a basket. So with this, I'm gonna continue this to. So in the music video of Whitney Houston, there's a song or video called "Queen of the Night." You'll see her like in a form of ma'at or ma'ut, or Newt or Nuit. Reason why I say that because of how she was dressed and everything, and you have Aaliyah, Queen of the Dead, Queen of the Damned, and Whitney Houston, Queen of the Night. So in Nuit or Newt, if you look on the stele of her villain, you see Newt as the darkness, and with the stars in her body. So going forward with this whole situation, so the ego can get in the way if Mike would have never took or listened or took his listen to, like, he could have listened to his brother but went on what he wanted to do musically. I remember there was a story of Mike Epps. He heard when he was in the movie Sparkle with Whitney Houston, she personally asked for him to be in the movie because I think she was a producer of the movie too also. And she one time Mike Epps, he told a story about he left out of his trailer and heard Whitney Houston. She was singing to some music of Michael Jackson in her trailer while Michael Jackson's music was playing. She was singing to it like it was like a duet. And the funny thing is, Mike Epps, he's also from Indianapolis, the same state, or Indiana. He's from the same state as the Jackson family is from. And it's funny that he heard her singing Michael Jackson. It's almost like, if you look at it spiritually, I can see what was going on. It's just that it's different timing and different people. But it's just the funny thing is that he actually heard it, and he's from the same state as Michael Jackson. So let's keep it going. What else? Even with, if you listen to the song Queen of the Night, like I was going to say before, Whitney Houston, she had somebody playing the guitar. Now, everybody know that Michael Jackson and Prince had this rivalry in the 80s of being the best. But I was come to find out there was certain times that Prince was supposed to do some producing for Michael Jackson, or and they always had a falling out, and the things never worked out how they're supposed to. And this is all from the labels, the music labels, as in like a music company or the company that houses their music or that sells their music. I think it was Epic and Warner Brothers. Those are the two labels that Michael Jackson and Prince was signed under. So when they're having their disputes or having their not seeing eye to eye, Michael Jackson and Prince, they was actually making music together at one point, and they just never saw eye to eye, and it never came to fruition because of the ego. The ego, again, as we say, I'm better than this person, I'm gonna do this better, or I'm gonna change it how I want it to be, I'm gonna put it like this, and I don't care what you think. But when that's certain things that happen, as artists, you hurt yourself, as in making things bigger than what they could be, or making situations better than what they could be, as in the people hearing your music and feeling a sense of what's the name of that word? Nirvana. A great feeling to hear two people's or a person's favorite two artists or two artists they really respect and hear some music that was greatly appreciated by the people that they heard the music, but it's just those egos get in the way. So like I said earlier, with Whitney Houston had a song with a person playing a guitar, and Queen of the Night. I got the stuff that you want. I got the stuff that you need. You know, so she was saying, you know, like she said, play guitar. It was like a part of the bridge or something, and some person was playing the guitar. Well, we know Prince. He's one of the players of one of the guitar players that people that play guitars have a lot of respect for his continuity and his fluidity in playing, like as in his he's continually doing different things with his music, and it's not being stagnant and getting caught up or getting caught in doing the same thing over and over, changing the sound or changing how the guitar sounds when he has it in his hands. So that's what that pretty much is telling. So with Whitney Houston said that in the song, I'm thinking, what if Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston got together and they had an album produced by Prince? We don't think about, or they all produced the album. They all had a hand in executive producing an album together. You know, because Prince played all those instruments. That he recorded, he played them, but he had a band that played with him later. But he'll record it himself, in Paisley Park, and that itself, it just shows you like a lot of the different things we miss out on because of the ego. Oh, I'm not gonna record this person with this person because of such and such, such and such, which is minuscule because the labels put these situations together. Or like the same thing with Biggie and Tupac. It was a little bit more with that because somebody got physically hurt, by a shooting, and it brings on untrustworthiness of I can't trust this person because of something was physically hurt. That was no one physically harmed in their situation, but like this happens all the time in everyday people's lives, or the ego gets in the way. Or like, I've heard people getting shot over chicken wings. I'm like, just shit like that. Like, it just don't make no sense. But I'm saying, like, I wanted to bring this video to light. I said this like months and months ago. I was gonna come out with this video. I had that information back at that. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think I did have that information close around that time. And that was like months and months ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. I'm just been. I'm. I'll just say this. When I'm quiet, oh, that's a great thing. It's not so great for some certain factors or certain people, but it's a great thing for the ancestors. I say we in the 2246. 46 is a number of a feminine number, and 22 is a number of Aset, Isis, and or Nephthys. So yeah, that was a great thing. So ancestors know what really be going down, and you know what I'm saying. So, and I don't gotta uh, I don't let the ego get to me to the point where, oh, I want to be seen, I want to be known. I don't have to do all of that because if I'm in the shadows, that means I'm doing the work. If I don't got to be out in front of everybody for people to see me, you run yourself to the ground like that. Don't spread yourself so thin. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, but anyway, you gotta grow. Growing your expanding yourself spiritually. So I would like what I had just read to you out of that book uh, was a native or indigenous American out of an indigenous American book. I don't want them to try to block this video or whatever because of certain litigation. So you got the information. It came out of I ain't printed myself. It came out of a book. So if I say if I put it in the description what kind of book it is or who's the author, they'll try to block it. So I want the people to get the information. The last video I put out, I think I was talking about, was part 2 to Michael Jackson's crypt, or his resting place in California, right outside of Los Angeles, in the county of Los Angeles, outside of Hollywood. So I wanted to show y'all a little something. And I read that out of a native, they said Native Indigenous American mythology book. And right now I'm at an Indian mound right now. So I said, you know what, let me go ahead and bring that book with me. I can read this, and I did some more spiritual stuff earlier today while I was here. But other than that, like I wanted to read out of that book while I was here. And I said, let me go ahead and do it. It ain't gonna hurt me nothing. I want to get the information out. And matter of fact, let me go ahead up here. Yeah, I'll just go ahead on up there, like, you know, but I love it, man. I love going to, as you can see, if you look at anything in my, if you look at my, all the videos I put out, you'll find some Indian mounds. I don't really have to say where this is at. Just go find some Indian mounds around you. It might be the next state or 2 states away, or it might be in your state or your city or your town. So with that being said, like, if that's the case, you know, make your way out. If you're a highly melanated so-called black person, highly melanated so-called black person, you know, get your ass outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have it like this, where they have these like things like this, that means they don't want you to stand on here. I almost got into a situation a couple of years ago where a person was like, oh, that worked there, like, oh, don't be on the grass and shit. I'm like, I would, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, though. But yeah, I want y'all to see, I'm not gonna go in. I've been here before, years ago, years and years and years ago. I was here at one point in time. So anyway, who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how it should be. But, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get a little close, see what the Indian Mound was like, and to show what the Indian Mound looks like with all these trees around it. So, as you can see, you can look up those names, the Loon Woman, and they were talking about the eagle or the hawk. And the hawk is another form, or the eagle is another form, or a falcon. They're all in different areas, but they all have the same like meaning in different areas of the world. So when you see those, the hawk is, or the falcon, or the eagle is as Heru or Horus. So that's what that means. And like I said, Michael Jackson was a depiction of Heru, Horus. You know, you'll see like the curl in the front of his hair, or just like Superman, he has the forelock. And if you look at the album cover of Blood on the Dance Floor, look at how his arms are, and look at his foot. His left foot is forward, and his arms are going back. If you figure that out, that's you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're on the right path or the right direction. All right. So I just want to show this before I get up out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So this is something I like. This is stuff I like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like spirituality, that's fun to me. I can go to a club, but well, how much is that gonna be? I can, you know what I'm saying? You can have fun. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what you, if you put your spirituality into it and looking into it in another world, it can really bring a difference. Like if you can be like in a den of dancing, and dancing brings on melanin or chaos. All right, so it depends on what your mindset is. But yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. Wanted to put this video out and get it made, but I'll probably put this out probably months down the line. Like I should do. My 28, 28.